Okay, if you've ever been broke in your life, then you know what I'm talking about when I refer to like having the broke man's mindset and doing broke shit, broke behavior, broke habits. It's basically stuff that you do when you're really fucking broke that isn't even necessarily helping you save money as much as it is helping you gain a false sense of control over your life and your brokenness. It's like 50-50, 50% cheapness, 50% pure nonsense. And that shit will alter your brain chemistry. Like you will be stuck in the broke man's mindset even when you're no longer broke. Like I'm not a millionaire or anything. In fact, most days I'm still not even beating the broke allegations, but like my family used to be on food stamps. So you know how it is. And honestly, like the only way you can really snap out of a broke habit and break it, no pun intended, is by just watching somebody outbroke you. Like watching someone just like step up the broke insanity to the next level, it'll really just like open your eyes to it. I used to only ever fill my tank up $5 at a time. Like I didn't give a fuck how bad life was, what was going on, whatever. $5 max. I would look the guy, like I live in Jersey, we don't pump our own gas. I had to tell the guy, and I would look the guy at the gas station in the eye sometimes and literally ask for $3 regular. And I was so caught up in the broke man's mindset, I wasn't embarrassed. I didn't think it was weird. Meanwhile, he would look at me like, bitch, you need to drive this piece of shit off a cliff already and put yourself out of your misery if that's what it's come down to. Where the fuck are you going with $3? Until one day my friend told me that she never fills her tank up all the way with gas. Just in case she crashes and totals her car, she wouldn't also be losing a full tank of gas. That was one of the brokest things I have ever heard in my fucking life. Like people down at the welfare office weren't even talking. Like you got paramedics trying to keep you from flatlining. Your car is fucked beyond repair, and you're worried about the tank of gas that you just lost. Like that's what I'm talking about. Like it doesn't make sense. There's no logical thinking. It's just broke. But you know what? From that day on, I never did the $5 thing. I only filled my tank up all the way because even though it wasn't the exact same logic and line of thinking, it was damn near close enough.
These are the 4 money habits that most people are making that are keeping them broke and how to fix them. Hi, if you're new around here, my name is Dom. I'm a 28-year-old remote software engineer living in Washington, D.C., and I like to make content all about money and financially conscious lifestyle content. So if that interests you, definitely give me a follow, a like, and share this video with somebody who you think will help. Number 1, you're paying yourself last. And by paying yourself, I mean putting money aside for either your long-term or even short-term goals, things like buying a house, retirement. And I tended to do this a lot when I first got out of college, and I noticed that my discretionary spending would increase a lot throughout the month because I felt like I had the money to do so, when in reality, I just wasn't setting aside money for myself. Go ahead and eliminate this problem by setting aside a portion of each of your paychecks into retirement savings or any other goal-based savings account before you do anything else with it. Number 2, your finances are disorganized and all over the place. A clear indication of this is your bills not being paid on time, constant overdraft fees, or limited or non-existent savings. To fix this, you need to start budgeting so that you can see what money you have coming in each month and what money you have going out. Now, I like to manually budget using a Google spreadsheet because I think it keeps me more intentional about my purchases, and the exact template that I use is available for download in my link in bio. But even something as simple as writing down your monthly income and your monthly bills on a piece of paper is a great first step. Third thing is not investing your money. One thing's for sure, to grow your money and to build real wealth, you're gonna have to start investing. Saving money is one thing and it's great, but if you don't invest it, you're only gonna get so far. First, you're gonna take advantage of any employer-sponsored retirement accounts, especially if they offer a match. And then next, you're gonna go watch my other videos on all the other investment accounts that are out there for you, and you'll figure out which one is the best one for your individual goals. And the fourth one is the one that we've all been guilty of at some point in our lives: living beyond your means, or keeping up with the Joneses, whatever you want to call it. Signs of living above your means are things like only being able to pay the minimums on your debts each month, not being able to save any money, and living paycheck to paycheck. The most important tip for living within your means is to understand your cash flow, and the best way to do this is by tracking your expenses each and every month. Listen, all in all, developing good money habits takes time and consistent effort, so just be patient, address these bad money habits, make positive changes, and just build towards a healthier financial future.
The number one thing that kept me broke in my early 20s and a poor money habit that I had was lifestyle inflation. Just because you're making a little bit more money and you start to increase your income does not mean that you need to spend all of it or spend as much that's coming in. It's okay to save some, it's okay to invest in yourself and experiences, but make sure that you are being careful about living below your means and not just increasing your spending just because you're making more money. That was the number one that was the money habit that kept me broke and kept me working in the rat race and paycheck to paycheck, just because I was making money and I was like, I'm making all this money, but I'm not seeing anything. But also I'm increasing my lifestyle and my expenses, and it's just not making sense.
I'm 54, and if you're younger than me, here's some really hard financial truths that are probably going to make you uncomfortable, but they just might save you. Your dream life is possible, but not with your current financial habits. If you need a payment plan to afford it, you can't afford it. You're not saving money when you buy something on sale. You still spent, you just spent less. If you don't control your money, someone else will. And guess what? They're not going to use it in your best interest. A credit card is not an emergency fund. If you don't take the time to understand money, you will spend your life working for someone who does. Financial stress, it's self-inflicted. You can't retire on vibes and optimism. You're going to have to work until you die if you don't start investing. Your bank account reflects your choices, not your excuses. You don't believe me? Take a look. Every dollar you spend is a vote for the life that you're building. What are you voting for? Security or poverty? You don't need a financial miracle. You need financial discipline. Stop praying for money and begin managing what you have. Your future is being sold off one impulse purchase at a time, and you will never escape the cycle of being broke until you admit that you are the problem. Hope that helps.
The way people pay their bills can be broken down into two types. The first way is the poor people's habit, and that is through paying yourself last. So as soon as your paycheck comes in, you then pay your rent, your phone bill, your subscriptions, you fund your social plans, and then you'll save whatever's left over, if there is even any money left to save. The second method he talks about is the rich people's habit, and they do the complete opposite. They pay themselves first, and that is what you want to do. Take 10% minimum and put that into your savings account the minute you get paid. A lot of people are probably thinking, there is no way I can do this. I live paycheck to paycheck. But the surprising thing is when you take that 10% and put it away, your mind will think of ways and structure your spending and structure your finances to last for the whole month, and you won't even realize that you're saving in the background. I first heard of this in the book Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, and it's one of the blueprints in achieving financial freedom. Robert explains that
it seems in the patterns that I observe that my wealthier friends talk more about like goal setting. They talk more about what they're working on, their fitness. Like they share their, oh, here's my CPA or here's my financial advisor or whatever. Their mind is freed up so they can talk about more like existential topics, spiritual topics, philosophical topics. My broke friends tend to talk more about sports, celebrity gossip, surface level shit. Maybe a part of gaining wealth is the mentality of the things that you're talking to your friends about and the things that you're consistently reflecting on. And if the only things that you're talking about and consuming is just sports and celebrity and pop culture, you're a vessel.
It is so hard to watch your friends who have bad spending habits. My friend was telling me about someone they know who was recently laid off from their job, which sucks, but as someone who was also recently unemployed and is financially responsible, I immediately went into like money conservation mode, like not going out to eat at restaurants, not buying new clothes, etc. This person, on the other hand, has an Equinox membership. That right there is over $300 a month. They're always going out to eat. When they go out to the club, like they're buying multiple drinks a night. And that's all one thing, okay? But what really gets me is this. Apparently, they have a doctor's appointment that they've been like kind of needing to go to, but because because they lost their job and no longer have health insurance, they haven't wanted to go to pay like the full price out of pocket. But what they did do is they just bought Taylor Swift tickets in Europe. So they're paying for the flight there and back, plus a hotel, plus the ticket, which is like over $1,000. And it's like, yeah, I get it. Like, she puts on a great concert, okay. But like, you're willing to spend thousands on a ticket to go see her when you don't have like a source of income, but you won't spend a couple hundred on a doctor's appointment. That to me just shows like a level of immaturity with how you spend your money and like misaligned priorities. And I will say, like, I don't personally know them. There's probably way more to the situation that I don't know. Like, I don't know, maybe daddy's money is at play. But just from my perspective, like, that could never be me. Like, my parents weren't perfect, but they did teach me how to be financially savvy, and I'm thankful for that every single day.
These are the top 3 middle class habits that will keep you poor. Number 1, living above your means. The amount of people who will jump into these homes that they can't afford, drive these cars to look good in front of other people, putting these vacations on credit cards, it's insane. Number 2 is not having a budget. If you don't know how much money is coming in versus how much money is going out, you will never be able to take control of your finances. In fact, most people's budget lives in here. And in psychology, they call this mental accounting. But what people don't know is this has a negative effect on how you view spending money. And number 3 is one that most people actually don't talk about, and that's not fully understanding your value. I see this all the time in corporate America. You will have 2 people with the same experience, the same job title, but one makes $10,000 more than the other person. What's the difference? The only difference is one knew how to sell themselves more because they understood their value, their work experience, their education, all of these things, their knowledge in whatever career field it is, sums up how much you're actually worth, and you have to be able to sell that. Y'all follow me for more content like this.
For a poor middle class, there are a lot of bad money habits that your parents taught you. There's a lot of things that rich people's parents taught them that your parents didn't teach you, so you have a lot to learn. One of them being understanding how much money you're bringing in each month and understanding how much money you're spending each month. The money that you're bringing in each month is your income. The money that you're spending each month are your expenses. I don't know why the girlies aren't talking about this, but Marcus by Goldman Sachs is one of the best ways to track your income and expenses. I use it to track my spending, saving, and investments. All I do is link my bank accounts, and then I can literally just see my net worth right there. Makes it so easy. My favorite part is that it literally breaks things down into categories, so I can see when, I've been eating out a bit too much. I need to take a break from the DoorDash, leave the Uber Eats alone. It will call me out. It gets real, okay?
Having spent 9 years of my life working in investment banking and 3 years studying accounting, I have seen firsthand the middle class habits that keep people in the rat race, that keeps them tied to a job they don't like to sustain their lifestyle whilst their greater life goals and ambitions are placed in the background. So in this video, I'll walk you through what these habits are and how you can avoid them. Number 1, working for less than your worth. This is one of the biggest mistakes people make. It's common practice for employers to pay their employees less than what they deserve. And so they will pay their employees the least amount possible and just enough so they don't quit. How many people do you know whose employers haven't given them a raise at all? Or if they have, it's something insulting, like 3 or 4%, which is less than the rate of inflation. So essentially, despite you having another year of experience, you're getting paid less than you did the year before. And then when you leave the organization, they try to hire someone else, they realize they need to increase the salary in order to get anyone else to take the job. A middle class habit is just accepting this the way it is because it's comfortable. You know you're getting paid X amount on X day, no matter what, but this habit will keep you in a cycle, and finding a new job elsewhere could actually be the best decision you can make when it comes to getting out of the rat race. A more typical pay increase when you move between organizations is 10 to 20%, far higher than the 3 to 4% you would have got if you stayed in the company. And if you're working hard and you're putting your soul into something and you feel like you're getting underpaid, it is okay to leave and go to a competitor. So network, learn about other industries, go find out what the market is paying for your role and have that conversation. You may think that moving and starting from scratch is inconvenient, but if you're getting paid 30% more, which you can then put into your investments to give you another source of income, it may well be worth it. Number 2, buying more than you can afford. When people get their first full-time job, they get a promotion or a bonus, they tend to upgrade 2 things. The first is their car, because even if you don't have the money to buy it full, you can still afford the lease payments. And of course, this is structured in a way to make you buy a more expensive car than you can afford. And it's also the number 1 wealth killer. It will keep you working to pay off the loan as long as you let it. What you want to do is either buy a car outright if you have the money for it, or make sure your car finance payment is within the recommended guidelines. The rule of thumb is to spend no more than 15% of your annual income towards your car. So if your annual income is $60,000, you should aim to spend no more than $9,000 per year on a car. And that amount should include the car payment, insurance, maintenance, and any other associated expenses. The second thing people will look to upgrade is their home, because again, banks will lend you 4 or 5 times your salary to purchase your house. So even with a marginal increase in your salary, you can afford a lot more home, but you don't want to buy more home than you can afford. The rule of thumb here and the general guideline is that you don't want to be spending more than 28% of your income on your mortgage payments. That's 28% of your gross income before tax. If you want to learn more about the different ways you should be managing your money and where you should be allocating it, I have a Money MBA 5-day email course. It's completely free, and every day I email you with how you can make the most out of your money. And one of those emails goes over the recommended percentage of where your money should be going. This will be linked in my description if you want to check it out. Number 3, relying on one source of income. If we have learned anything from the last few years, it's that relying on one source of income is extremely risky. The pandemic caused millions of people to lose their jobs, and we're seeing the same happening again with more and more layoffs being announced. By having one source of income, you are one incident away from not having any income and cash flow. And a middle class habit is to just rely on one source of income, being their day job. By doing this, you're putting your whole livelihood and financial responsibility in the hands of your employer. And this is a super risky position to be in. So to break free from the rat race, you need to diversify your income streams, get a second job, whether it's babysitting, being an Uber driver, starting an online business, or investing in other cash generating assets like the stock market or real estate. Giving all your financial power to your employer is a slippery slope that you really want to avoid. Next, we have ignoring the importance of saving for old age. Imagine if you were walking on the streets and you dropped $50 because you had a hole in your purse. And then the same thing happened the next day and the next day. You wouldn't let that keep happening. You would either fix your purse or you'll get a new one. And the same thing applies when it comes to investing, yet very few of us act on it. Even though we are aware that by holding back on investing every day, we're essentially losing out on the ability to let that money compound, we still don't do anything about it. And a lot of that is because of the lack of tools and resources to help you get there, knowing what to invest in or knowing what's right for you. And as Naval Ravikant states in his book, The Almanac, you're not going to get rich renting out your time. You must own equity, a piece of a business, to gain your financial freedom. If you don't know where to begin, then 2 that you can start with are index funds and a target date fund that builds a portfolio based on the retirement year you choose. The sooner you put your money down for retirement, the better off you'll be. Next up, we have consumption versus production. Money will come into your life and then it will leave. This is a relationship that is often looked at in terms of income and expenses. And another way to express this is by looking at in terms of production and consumption. Money will come into your life because you have produced some sort of value. And for the majority of us, this value will come in the form of labor, a job. Money will leave when you have consumed something, a new house, a car, Netflix subscription. In one way, we can look at the financial position of an individual by determining their relationship between consumption and production. And for a lot of people, that equation is negative. In fact, the average American holds a debt balance of $96,000 and the average personal debt in the UK is over £33,000. The money is leaving quicker than it's coming in. You want to recognize how this is impacting your financial position and both reduce the consumption part of the equation whilst putting as much money as you can into the production value, the sources where the money is coming into your life. Next, we have ignoring financial literacy. Financial mastery has a huge impact on our lives, whether we like to admit it or not. We put so much importance on our well-being, our mental well-being, our physical well-being, but so little actually on our financial well-being, when really this plays an equally important role in our enjoyment in life. It might just be excusable not to invest in our financial literacy in our early 20s. We're busy living life, dating, seeing new places, having expensive items. And because we don't have much money to begin with, the consequences of our lack of financial literacy are actually limited. However, if we carry that mindset through with us to our 30s and to our 40s and don't bother developing our knowledge base of financial literacy, it'll become harder and harder to undo, and this will echo through to the rest of our lives. There are basic things you should understand: understanding tax rules, understanding what your income and expenses are, knowing how to get the most value out of your money. This isn't taught at school, so it's up to us to learn about it. And if you want to know more about any of these topics, then let me know and I'll make that for you. But just by ignoring this and not wanting to learn about it, you'll stay in a place where you keep working for money. Number 7, doing what everyone else is doing. In today's society, we are really under pressure to spend, and we have to do it to fit in. This applies to everyone, whatever your income level is. I have worked with people who are making a lot of money, way into the 6 figures, but they are still living paycheck to paycheck because they are spending to impress and to look rich and to show everyone how rich they are instead of actually being rich and building wealth. If you're spending on clothes and bags because you enjoy it and because it brings you happiness, then that's one thing. And I'm all for spending on things that brings you happiness and joy. But spending on it to keep up with what everyone else around you is wearing and to post it on your social media to show everyone else what you're wearing rather than for your own happiness, that's another thing altogether. And this is what keeps the middle class in a never-ending cycle. It is a status-driven society, but you need to find why you're making money and working hard. What do you want to achieve and how do you want your life to look like? Whether it's to travel business class everywhere or to quit your job and never see your boss again, as long as it's in line with what your value is and it's not dictated by anyone else's. That is what will get you out of the rat race. The rat race isn't about working a 9-to-5 job. It's about living life on such an edge where you are always chasing the next thing, whether it's a paycheck or a material possession, in a way that your greater life goals and your ambitions are placed in the background in order to keep continuing this race. Hopefully this video gave you some ideas or triggered some thoughts into habits that you do not want to go down. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, you may also enjoy another video that I have on habits that made me 6 figures by 24, and I'll link that over here. Hope to see you there.
If you grew up middle class and you're trying to become wealthy, these are things that people don't really talk about because it's a sensitive topic, but are actually going to help you establish a strong financial foundation and get you to that point where you are on track to start establishing generational wealth. Those 2 things are life insurance and a will. Life insurance, because oftentimes funeral expenses can be quite costly. You can use life insurance to cover the cost of the funeral, and sometimes there is something left over to help you and your family set up for success. The second is a will. We often know that there are fights within families. Funerals sometimes bring out the worst in people. So much chaos. We don't want that. So if there's a house, make sure that in the will it says who it's going to go to. And those are my tips and recommendations. Again, this is for middle class families. Obviously, this applies to anyone, whether you're poor, middle class, wealthy, but just the key is make sure you have a will and you have life insurance for your parents. If they can't afford life insurance on your own and you're doing what better financially, maybe you pay for the life insurance for them. And if you found this helpful, make sure you save this video, make sure you share it with your sibling, and you like and follow for more personal finance tips.